this one. Hello, everyone. I'm David from the package team, and today we will be discussing the technical changes for this idea of pipelines for packages. And with me today, I have Grzegorz, staff backend engineer at GitLab. And let's dive in, I guess. So the main idea is usually we trigger a pipeline when you have a Git push. And the idea is to trigger a pipeline when a package is pushed to the package registry. And so we do have a new event, which is the package push. And the thing is that the package can come from several sources. It can come from a CI pipeline from a GitLab project. It can come from an external process. You could have an external CI pipeline building the package and pushing it to the GitLab package registry. And it can also come from a manual process. You could very well be building your package on your console and pushing it to the package registry. The main goal is that having pipelines for packages, we could allow users to run some validation on packages. And so we could have an option that says, if a package doesn't have a green pipeline, it can be pulled from the package registry. It's really similar from what we have with don't deploy a commit if it doesn't have a green pipeline. So that's the main idea. And to do this, to prove that it's possible and have a glimpse of what is possible, I created a proof of concept. I will share my screen, and this way we will see the changes. This one, share. Okay, so the changes I had to do, I did it in two different projects, the Rails backend and the GitLab runner. So let's start with the Rails backend. The main issue here, not issue, but problem, is that the pipeline object is really deeply linked to a Git repository with commit chars and references and source branches. And the issue I had here is that we don't have any of this with a package. We just have a package file, which is here.
So I have a few questions because I think it's a common theme to actually have a repository for a package and to build a package in the continuous integration, continuous delivery pipeline from that repository. So it feels a bit awkward that whenever you push such package from a CI environment, you would still trigger another pipeline to validate something. I know that it might be suitable for a bit different use case, right? But in this case, it feels a bit disconnected from the usual workflow of building packages and publishing them within the CI.
Yeah, it is, but it caters also situations where users can use an empty project to collect all the packages that they want to make available within their company. And they want to make sure that these packages don't have any issues. So in the demo, one of the jobs is running Package Hunter. So Package Hunter will take a package file and it will actually, I think it tries to install it and check what it is doing with the system. And it was a bit popular a few months ago, where you could have, for example, for NPM packages, you can have a before script where you have, basically you can input a shell command and you can do whatever you want. So I know that, yeah, it might not be the main scenario, but you can have them where people can use a single project as a package registry and the project is completely empty. You don't have any source code inside of it.
Yeah, I think it makes sense to me. Like depending on how we configure the pipeline that is going to be created upon the push of a package, like it might even make sense in a regular workflow because you can, for example, do some pre-flight checks before you publish the package after actually being able to confirm that it's already in the package repository, but just waits for being made available for everyone else. So yeah, I think it makes sense. We still need to have Git repository because we do need to keep GitLab CI YAML somewhere and it needs to be versioned. So the repository will need to be there anyway. So yeah.
Yep. Okay, so so the main issue I faced here is that how do you link a pipeline object with a package file? Because in the package team we have mainly two files, the package and the package files. So here I wanted to link a pipeline with a package file, and the issue is that we, as I said, we don't have any concept of a commit char or a reference or something. So what I did is that I created an intermediary object which I called a push. Well, it's not a great name. I guess there is a better name, but it's actually an object that would be created when you push a package, a package file. So it will link the package file and the pipeline. Do you see clearly my screen, or do you want me to increase the font size?
No, I see everything, and I think basically it makes sense. Please wait a moment.
Yep.
Okay, so creating pipelines for arbitrary actions like packages being pushed or stuff like that, that's not a challenge because we are doing that already with chatops, for example. And this is an established pattern of being able to run some kind of a script whenever something happens. How chatops is implemented, in my opinion, still like a bit I would do that differently perhaps, but right now that's an established pattern. So I guess that we can at least replicate some parts of it, and that's fine. Having some kind of an identifier or a SHA assigned whenever we push something, like it might work, but then there are like a couple of follow-up questions someone might ask. So for example, do we want to trigger a separate pipeline every time someone is pushing the same thing? Can we have the duplication like in case of Docker image, you do have layers, and do we want to run a pipeline whenever someone is pushing a Docker image, or we actually want to run a pipeline per layer, digest, manifest? Like, of course, like, you know, these are like, there is some generic approach for all the packages, but specific solutions might have a bit different requirements or different edge cases. But I do agree that we want to start simple with a simple solution that is going to work most of the time, perhaps not in every case, but like 95% of cases. And having a package push object seems like it actually might be this kind of solution. The main challenge, in my opinion, is not really how we implement that, but the UX. Because someone needs to somehow associate pipelines with the push events. We need to have some kind of a view for that if it does not exist already. we need to have some way of telling users what the status of such pipeline was and stuff like that. So it's more like, in my opinion, it's more like, you know, a UX challenge than a backend challenge actually.
Mm. Well, for the UI, it was far easier than I thought, and I could let me see if I can grab the. I don't have the demo running live, so we
Yeah,
reuse
video is
my.
fine. Video is fine, of course.
I will reuse the video. So basically, we have a screen where you have all your packages, and you can see if what is the latest status of the package. It will pull the latest package file uploaded and pull the pipeline status for that. Yeah, here it is. So you have the all the packages, and you can. I put a simple pipeline status icon there.
But I guess that we do have multiple, we can have multiple pipelines per package, right? So how do we find historical pipelines?
Yeah. So I think I don't have the screen shown in the demo, but actually, if you can click on a package and you can see the files, and I did that for the demo, but I didn't use the screen. Let me show you. I think we do have here. Let me pull a package details page. Let's see. Get package. Anyone will do. So I put a pipeline status icon too in this screen. So this screen is you have the package and you have the files. For some package types, we will allow duplicates uploads, meaning that you could overwrite a given version. That's not the case for all the packages. For example, NPM packages, we don't allow that. So you will have a single package file, and that's it. You can't upload that version again. For Nugget, which is this one,
Is that really the case that you cannot, for example, yank a package and then create it again? In that case, the same version would have multiple pipelines.
I don't think that we have support for the yank command on NPM. Although that's a good question, because we are implementing a delete package file action in the UI. So you would have here, oh, actually it's already implemented. You could delete the file and re-upload it.
Yeah, so I guess that it's more like UX discussion with a UX team member, right? So it's presumably something that needs a design anyway, and you can always describe what the workflow, how the workflow looks like, and
yeah,
the UX can address that.
The nice surprise I had, well, I guess it's logical, but it was a surprise for me. It's that the pipelines were like available. No, yeah, I don't have a pipeline here.
Yeah, but it would be like a regular downlink pipeline that is not associated with the commit.
Exactly. I have some. The pipelines for packages were shown here in the pipeline screen. There were a few things that were not working, like this commit column, since we are not referencing a commit. But the whole UI was working, the links were working. I could open the pipeline, and this screen was working too. The pipeline details, I guess it is. So there is already a good part of the UI working, but you are right that there are still some questions on the UX for this.
But like, why there is no commit column? Like, you still need to use a commit to indicate which version of the GitLab CI YAML is going to be used or had been used to create a pipeline?
Yeah, the thing is that what do you do in the case of pushing a package from the command line manually? You are not referencing any commit.
Like, but you need to source GitLab CI YAML from somewhere. So there's some commit that you are going to use. Perhaps that's a master branch head commit or something.
Well, for what I did for the demo, this is another question on the backend, what we do with the YAML file. And for the demo, I just used the regular standard YAML file, and it was picked up without referencing any commit.
But you had to create the standard regular CI YAML file, and you had to put that into repository under some kind of a SHA. Like,
yeah.
So there is a SHA of the commit being used to read the CI configuration, right? So that's actually the connection with the repository, because we need to parse GitLab CI YAML file from the repository, and that's the version of the pipeline we are running.
Okay. Config. Okay, I see. Yeah, this was also a question. Do we use the standard file, or do we use a dedicated one?
What's the standard file?
The GitLab-ci.yaml file.
So I think if we want to be in line with what we are doing with ChatOps, ChatOps is using the standard YAML file. But there is a specific job that only can run for ChatOps. It's very not polished right now, because in order to indicate that that's a ChatOps job, you just put the entry only chat. Only chat, it means that this job can only run for a chat. And I think that's interesting to have everything in one file, because this way you can build a workflow where you develop the package in a Git repository. Whenever someone is merging changes to a master branch, you can have a CI job that is going to build package,
Yep.
another CI job that is going to push package. And then you can have a specific only packages job that is going to run after the package registry actually receives the package, which will allow you to do even more validation or sanity checks or whatever you like. So having everything in the same GitLab CI YAML would allow you to build a complete workflow that connects the new use case with the traditional use case, where a software that is being packaged is developed in that repository.
Yeah, makes sense. My first idea was to have a different file, but I guess both sides have arguments, and I can see why it would be better to have everything in the same file.
Yeah, so I think there's some value in replicating how ChatOps works, and it's not only ChatOps. We do have also, I think, some kind of actions being done when you edit something in Web IDE. I cannot remember exactly, but we would need to check that. But whenever you do something in the Web IDE, I remember that we also created a dangling pipeline that does something. I can't remember what exactly, but ChatOps and Web IDE are two different sources of dangling pipelines. Dangling, which means that it's not really connected to a push event,
Yeah.
a different event.
Yeah, I used that in the demo where I flagged the package push event as a dangling one.
Yeah.
Okay. Going back to the code. Yeah, I do have a service creating the pipeline, and this is the location where I'm not happy with it. So I'm using the regular create pipeline service, but I saw that some properties were mandatory, such as ref, and I used before SHA, but I'm not sure that was the proper way. And well, I'm just putting some values so that the service is happy, but I'm
Yeah.
not sure that's the right way to do that.
So I think that we can, without, instead of rep, we can use default branch, and instead of push, we can actually use the version latest, like the latest commit on the master branch, right? Because you want to read the latest GitLab CI YAML file.
Yeah, correct. Okay. I guess digging those chat ops commands or web ID actions that are not connected to a Git repository will help me to see much clearer how to
Yeah,
use this
yeah.
service without a repository. Okay, great. Yeah, that's about it for the Rails part. Do you have any other questions?
I don't think so.
Okay. On the runner part, it's really lightweight. The thing we have,
Can you quickly explain why do we need the runner part?
yeah, because the runner is by default, it is downloading the Git repository. But the thing is, it has to download the package file, not the Git repository.
I think it still makes sense to download the repository because you can put some support files in it that you are going to use in the package job, like the
Mm.
only package or something like that. So downloading Git repository is fine. What can be interesting is actually to serve the package as an artifact so that you could reuse everything around downloading artifacts, because a package is actually an artifact, right? So you would need to augment the code responsible for sending details about artifacts to the runner. You would need to because runner is able to, for example, retrieving objects from object storage.
Yep.
It can retrieve zip files through GitLab. Like it can do a lot. So treating the package file as an artifact can actually make it
Transparent.
almost transparent. So I guess that you might not even need to change anything on the
Yeah.
run.
Yeah, I guess since it's both areas are kind of new to me, so I missed a lot of information. Yeah, I implemented something similar like that, which is an API that will just pull the package file from object storage. But if something already exists, yeah, totally, we should use that instead. And this will avoid any change on the runner side.
Yeah, you can check that because package can be considered to be an artifact, right?
Yeah. Okay. Um, okay, great. Yeah, that makes sense. On the runner side, I had this question if the runner had to extract the package file, because usually package files are artifacts that are archives. But I'm feeling that this is going a bit too far. It's not the runner responsibility to do that, and I guess it would be better to do it in the job directly. For exa
Yeah,
for example, npm packages are tarball archives, so you can download it from object storage. But then, if you want to, I don't know, analyze the package.json file, you need to extract the files from that archive. Um,
So I would say that for the sake of iteration, I would descope that from the first iteration, because we don't like, I think that we are going to collect a lot of useful feedback from users about how to handle packages after the files are being downloaded, retrieved by runner. So basically, I would say that leave that for the next iteration and do not extract. Like in case of runner can automatically extract zip files. There is a type of artifact that will be downloaded without being extracted, I think. So this is something you would need to check, but I think it's possible to tell runner to download artifacts without extracting them, but you would need to check that.
Okay. Yeah, the most common type is a zip file, but the file extension is not zip. Like the Java jar files, they are just regular zip files, but you don't have the zip file extension. But okay, I guess we can do something, work with that artifact system, and it should be okay. Okay, so this was way shorter than I thought.
That's good. Efficient.
Yeah, efficiency, exactly. So I don't know if you have any more questions. Otherwise, I will just stop the recording.
Nothing comes to my mind, so I think that yeah, if something comes to my mind, I know where to find you.
Yeah. Okay. So for those following us in the video, I will put a link in the video to the issue, to this idea. So feel free to comment there, anything.
Perfect. Makes sense to me.
Bye.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.